Here we go. We're live. Noah Goldstein. It's nice to finally meet you. How are you doing?
Doing good. How are you doing?
Man, I'm great. I'm just missing lacrosse, college lacrosse season, but I got the PLL to hold me off. I love the PLL. What's new with you?
Not much. Just waiting for college lacrosse season, getting ready for the PLL playoffs.
Yeah, are you a fan of any of the PLL teams?
Uh, I'm from Maryland, so I'll go with the Whip Snakes.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say I had particularly rooting interest. I actually went to BL, so a lot of the alumni are in the league. So I kind of root for the alumni rather than team.
Okay, where'd you go?
Boys Latin.
Boys Latin. Okay,
Yeah,
awesome.
where
That's
Logan Wisnauskas went. Yeah, so I can think of at this minute, but I know there's more. Oh, Matt Brandow.
Matt Brandau. Yeah, he's a beast. Are you you're a Maryland fan?
Yeah, so I'm actually from Baltimore, Maryland. Yeah, so I love Maryland, but I actually am the student manager for Towson men's lacrosse. So Towson has my heart.
Dude, that's awesome. So you're in college right now?
Yeah, I'm gonna be a senior.
Okay, great. What are you studying?
I'm studying sports management.
Sports management. Dude,
Yeah,
that is awesome. Do you know what you want to do after college?
as much as every college student knows, I have an idea of what I want to do, but I'm sure it's going to change down the road.
Man, I'm sure that working with Towson and all the work that you've done in the lacrosse community, I'm sure you'll be able to find something lax related. You
Definitely.
see it like from looking at your Instagram, you're like me, you're a lax rat, and that's
Yeah,
awesome.
all the time. Yep.
Also, Noah, well, for those of you who haven't come across your Instagram yet, and seen all the great work that you're doing on and off the field, could you give us a little snapshot of your story?
Sure. So I'm a pediatric stroke survivor, actually a three-time pediatric stroke. My first one happened when I was 14, and then I had two more when I was 16. And so through this whole process, it's been a lot of grueling therapies. However, I'm now starting to reach a point where I want to give back to the community that gave me so much. So I know for stroke and everything, I had an amazing support system around me, and also I needed I people around me that had awareness and education. And so that's actually what I'm trying to kind of give back to the community, creating pediatric stroke awareness and education. So the lacrosse side of it is my brother and father had a very funny idea last summer to create a lacrosse team. He also goes to Boys Latin, so lacrosse kind of runs our life. And so they were like, let's create a lacrosse team. And so for the past year or so, they've been really nailing down constantly creating this lacrosse team and building it with kids that are not only talented, but they're advocates for pediatric stroke. And so they're good kids on and off the field. And so with creating this new lacrosse team, hopefully we can generate some pediatric stroke awareness, because honestly, not everybody knows this can happen to a kid, and it's not very common. And they just assume when you hear stroke, you just think of an elderly patient, but it can happen to kids, and it happens to kids quite often.
Really? Yeah, I never knew of that, and it's good that you're bringing awareness to something like that affects so many kids. Um, so you were 14 years old when you
Yeah.
had your
So
first stroke.
Yeah, so I'll give you a little story behind it. It happened July 25th, 2019. I was actually outside having a lacrosse catch with my brother, getting ready to go next day to the Ravens training camp, which is an NFL team. And well, I started feeling tingly in my right side. Just went in just with the normal kid mindset of, oh, I'm dehydrated, I should get some water. But the tingling never went away. And then the cup in my hand started to shake violently because I couldn't even control the right side of my body. And so I literally had to go into the garage and get my father. It's like, if you don't catch me, I'm going to fall flat on my face. So he walked me back inside, and we were able to call 911. And 911 came to the house a little bit slow, but they came in time. And so he basically the paramedics were saying, "Oh, I'm just having a panic attack," when my dad was fighting with them, being like, "Why is only one side of his body panicking?" Um, and basically, after actually a long time of fighting, about 10 minutes, they're like, "An abundance of caution, we'll take you to the local hospital." And so I finally got loaded up, got to the local hospital, and within 5 minutes, I was on the way to Johns Hopkins, which is a big regional hospital, even a global hospital. People from all around the world come in for that, and they knew it was a real issue. And so I underwent an emergency thrombectomy. Actually, when I got to Hopkins, so that night, and the next morning I woke up and I could not use the entire right side of my body. I was speaking at the level of a second grader. I had no right hand, no right arm, couldn't stand up, and I was bedridden for about, I would say, a good 2 or 3 weeks. Like it was, I was getting nothing back. And then slowly, after all that time, things started to come back, but I was 6 or 7 hours a day in therapies. It was cognitive therapy, it was physical therapy, it was occupational therapy, and it was grueling. But luckily, throughout this whole time, my father, mother, and brother were right there by my side, coming in every day to the hospital. I even feel for my brother because he was going. I know he was going. He was in middle school at some time. I don't remember specifically what. Um, Actually, no, excuse me. He was in elementary school. He was toward the upper years of that, and he was a lacrosse player himself, and he had to basically give up his whole summer. And I'm sure, as you know, the summer is such an important time for lacrosse players. And lacrosse, you get to practice, have fun, go out on the field, and he was just every single day at 8 or 9 in the morning come down to Johns Hopkins and forfeiting basically that time to get out on the field to be with me. And it's something I'll never be able to repay him back for. It was truly awesome.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I have a similar relationship with both of my brothers going through cancer, and it's just so important to have people around you when you're going through such difficult things. That so how long did your recovery process take?
Sure. So the recovery from the first stroke, like I said before, I had three of them. So about 19 months, and I was starting to get back acclimated a little bit to life, and then it happened to me when I was 16, and then a month later it happened again.
Oh my
So
gosh.
it was a scary time. The two of the three strokes, they weren't sure if I was going to survive, or they basically said to my parents are like, "Am I going to be okay?" And the doctors were walking out just saying, "You better pray a lot. We can't assure you of anything." So it was a pretty scary time for them, because I was cognitively, when you're going through something like this, you're not all there. So I was like, okay, but for them, it was truly heartbreaking. I've learned of countless hours and times where my mom and dad were crying with each other, just simply not knowing what was going to happen. And it really is. I'm very fortunate and lucky that I was able to make something out of it, and actually get out of that situation. Now I want to, I've now furthered myself in my recovery process where I want to give back to others just anything of what's been given to me.
Man, that is truly incredible. And I feel like just speaking to you, it feels like you could create a nonprofit in the lacrosse world and totally, you know, raise awareness like with the PLL or with college lacrosse with Towson in the future, and what you're
Yeah,
doing now is phenomenal. Like that
definitely.
seems like
Definitely. So
that's
I'll tell you a little
awesome.
bit about what's going on. So
Yeah.
I actually did create a 501c3, a nonprofit, about I would say it really got off its feet about maybe a year and a half ago. It really got off its feet. It's always been a kind of an idea in the back of my brain, in the back of my father's brain, but I wasn't healthy enough. So finally, we created it, and it's been going extremely well. And I'm getting to talk to some people and get the word and message out there about pediatric stroke. But one of the fortunate things I was able to discuss in the lacrosse community was I originally approached this story to Coach Nadalin, who's the head coach of Towson men's lacrosse, and he said, first off, he couldn't believe the story. Second off, he immediately went into he wanted me to share my story with the players. So fortunately, last winter, I was able to share that message with the players. And like many people are, they really couldn't believe what was going on, as pretty much everyone is not believing it at the time. But when I told them the story, it was the response I got was amazing. They wore my shirts actually with my charity's name, Strokes of Luck, a little plug. But they wore the shirts before the Delaware game, which was a pivotal conference matchup, and it was over 2,000. The support I got from it has been immense, and actually, finally, funny enough, Towson Lacrosse, after they had the Strokes of Luck game, went on to win 10 games in a row,
Wow.
which was pretty cool. And still to this day, I see people all around Towson Lacrosse wearing the shirt, and it really is just a source of pride for me, but also it's a source of pride knowing that it can help someone else out, and it's truly awesome.
Yeah, that is amazing. So, kind of backtracking a little bit,
Mhm.
like, did the doctors find out maybe what led to these strokes happening in the first place or reoccurring?
Yeah, so unfortunately, there's not an 100% definite what happened. They have theories, um, but the theories all kind of run together. They don't have 100% one thing, and
Mhm.
so that's kind of the scary part in the back of my brain. Them not knowing what this happened, how this happened, and how to prevent it. However, I'm now on medicine, and I'm on treatment to hopefully prevent this from happening ever again. But there's just something in the back of my head, just knowing we may never possibly know. And that's why I really want to advance this field of pediatric stroke further, is to help kids, but to help kids like me, who right now don't know. And it's a little bit scary when you think about it, but if we can advance the field of pediatric stroke further, then possibly we'll get some answers.
Yeah, and what is so since you've sort of started raising awareness, have you been able to see that growth? And obviously it's a long journey. Like, I
Mhm.
think I saw on your Instagram, I saw the hashtag "it takes one step to go 1,000 miles," or I what was that? That was inspiring.
No, it was something. I believe what you're referring to is keep chipping away.
Yes.
I think that was something like, yeah. So that's always been a big moniker, or basically my thought process through all of this is, no matter what's kind of going on, you're not going to be able to fix it all at once. However, keep chipping away at it and keep digging one little. If you get one little bit better, then that's going to help you so much in the future.
I love that philosophy. That's something that I always think about as well. Just and it's something that's super relatable to anyone going through something hard. That you can think so much about how big the journey is, but you've got to go one step at a time. And yeah, it was your video. I'm just scrolling through your Instagram right now. It's your video that I saw that really moved me, where you were doing your therapy and walking, and it was the journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. Was one that
Yes.
I was just thinking to myself, like, man, I love that. I connect with that because we've all got these big dreams to do big things, and a lot of people are afraid to take that first step because they're unsure of what might be down the road, and it takes that leap of faith.
Definitely. I mean, personally for me, it was an adverse life event. However, it like you said, it's really applicable to anything. So many, whether you've been through something such as a tragic event in your life, a traumatic time, or it's even just you wanting to go out there. I always say to someone, you won't be able to get anywhere unless you lay the groundwork. And so if you're going out every single day and laying that groundwork, then there's no telling you what you can build on top of that. It really can be amazing for you.
Yeah, and I think your story is the example of that. I mean, I personally, you're the first person that I think I've met post stroke, and seeing like your story, just following your social media. I can't imagine what it would be like. Do you remember the moment you sort of regained your consciousness and ability to speak, or did you have consciousness right when you woke up and couldn't speak?
So that's actually a lot of it was I had consciousness, and it was I'm not gonna lie. At first, it was very frustrating because it's like you said, I couldn't. I had slurred speech when I first started, and my right hand wasn't moving, my right leg, and so I was literally looking at my right leg and wondering why is it not moving. That's the internal thoughts going in my head. However, I couldn't vocalize that to anyone, and I was just lying there and just being like, what's going on. And I remember my father, at first, he told me I had, so when I woke up originally, he told me the first time he told me I had a stroke. However, because I didn't have the education and the didn't aware, I personally didn't even know what a stroke could be at 14 years old. I mean, luckily, I mean, there was no reason for me to know it before. However, because I didn't know what it was, I didn't really know how to respond. Um, but I would definitely say get understanding a little bit of what's going on now as I've regained everything and understanding what went on is I truly realized how lucky I was. Um, because I having hear these stories all the time is unfortunately so much of the time it goes the other way and people don't bounce back from this. And so I really believe that I'm so fortunate and lucky that I have bounced back. And I truly believe now that I have a purpose to go out and to share this message, this story, to generate awareness, generate education, make some change in this world.
What is one thing from your perspective, education wise, that needs the most work?
Sure. So there's a common acronym when dealing with strokes that most people don't know, but it's very simple. It's B FAST. The letters B spells out for balance issues, E for eyesight issues, F for facial drooping, the A is for arm weakness, S for speech slurring, and T for time is of the essence. Because with strokes, I'm sure with every issue, minutes, second, they matter. Time matters for a lot of issues. So as long if you
Mhm.
can get help quickly, then that is you're better off getting help quickly.
And I guess part of the education that's so important is, like in your case, or just in anybody's case, if you know it's a stroke immediately, you use that be fast acronym, and it makes sense because you've got to be fast. But if you don't know it's a stroke, it's like, oh, he's just passed out, oh, he's just dehydrated,
Mm-hmm.
then it could be in one person losing their life or having something horrible happen to them because of a stroke. Maybe it's because they fall over and hit their head, or God forbid something horrible happens.
Mm-hmm.
With that education, you can prevent so many different things like that.
Definitely. And you, even just personally, I know if my father wouldn't have fought with that paramedic and they wouldn't have gotten me to the hospital, who knows if I would be here today. So really, when people understand the signs, then it's a lot easier to know what to look for.
Yeah. Can you open up a little bit more on what you've learned along your journey?
Sure. So, one thing I've really learned, that's really applicable for anyone is just the waking up every morning and doing a task or doing a bit of work, and it will help you so much more in the future if you even just get a little bit done. Like I go back to that keep chipping away. It's if you get a little bit done, it makes all the difference in the future because if you have bits and pieces being slowly done, then you won't have all that work at the end. But if you're slowly working your way there, then it's a steady growth. It's more, you can maintain it more easily, and it will lend you better results in the future because once you get there, I know personally is I want to keep pushing beyond that limit. I want to keep pushing beyond where I want to go, or I want to keep pushing and get more crazy with ideas. And I think if you really always learn how to strive for those little things and always complete those little things, it will be so much better for you in the end.
Man, yeah, I mean, that you should go into public speaking, dude. That's like
I appreciate it.
that's your story, and the way you tell it and all everything about it and all that you're doing with lacrosse. Obviously, I'm a lacrosse guy, and I do work with a club college lacrosse league, and definitely want to connect afterwards and see how we can do our part. It's club college lacrosse, but there are a lot of students who
Oh, oh,
might be educated, right? So
I'm very familiar with the college club lacrosse team. My cousin was he originally played at Mount St. Mary's. However, he transferred to UGA,
okay,
played down in Georgia, and I know he was big on the club lacrosse scene there.
okay, I played for Samford University, a small
Okay.
Christian school in Birmingham, Alabama. We played Georgia. You
Mhm.
could probably guess the outcome. We got waxed, but however, it was fun. They were nice. But do you follow the VCL Varsity Club Lacrosse on Instagram?
Uh, I
Know them?
I feel like, is that the one where I get the like Florida videos? Is that VCL or is that MCLA?
VCL is like they just cover club lacrosse. Their sports account that covers all the club lacrosse schools. But
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, I do follow VCL.
okay, cool. So I work with that guy who started that. He's awesome, Andrew Golden.
Mhm.
Um, and he's the commissioner of the Southern Men's Lacrosse League, which is a club lacrosse league with a bunch of Southern schools. Our focus is really trying to grow the game,
Yeah.
and obviously in the South, it's not like Maryland. If you've been down here,
Believe me, my cousin's very he actually runs Team 91 Georgia, so I'm very aware of how they're trying to get the game to grow down in the South. And I honestly believe is coming from Towson, we had a face-off kid recently come from Georgia. His name's Miles Quaint. I believe he was at Buford in Georgia,
oh yeah,
and he is he's one of the grittier lacrosse players I've seen simply because he has that upbringing in the South, and they truly just grow them different down there. They are a, I believe a lacrosse athlete. However, they provide a different set of skills as the kids that live up in New York and New York and Long Island.
It's definitely a different style of play. It is that more physical. I'd equate it to like the football playery type mentality and play. It's very different. And like in Alabama, at least, it's not as skilled, right? Like they don't have the if you go watch up north and in Maryland and parts of the Midwest now in California, there's a lot of skill, but and it's just like it's why the SEC is so good at football and basketball and all these sports. A lot of the super athletic kids are born in the South. I don't really know how, but they keep growing.
They are, yep.
Yeah. So your lacrosse team, what's next with Strokes of Luck?
So Strokes of Luck is like the charity component behind Sizzle National. Sizzle National is the lacrosse team.
Okay, cool.
Um, and so my hope is that we can keep growing Sizzle National because I'm sure, as you're seeing, is lacrosse is a growing game, and lacrosse is becoming, quite frankly, a national game, and people all around the country are turning their eyes to lacrosse. And as lacrosse gains more popularity, we want to have teams out there that put on good talent and like you want to watch because they're talented, but also they share a message behind their play, and that's so important. Now with all these teams, as in the club scenes, there's so many different options, and national scenes now are created for high school. I mean, there's so many options. However, we want to create an option where it's good players, but a driven focus and a good ambassador for the game and spreading a message.
Are y'all also like fundraising with those teams as well?
So not particularly fundraising with those teams. We more do the fundraising as the charity.
Okay,
Um,
cool.
but no, we definitely have been a little bit of fundraising with the team, but that the goal is for us to get out to these tournaments,
Mhm.
and for by us being at the tournament, we've now impacted 3,000 people at the tournament.
Yeah,
I
it's an
am
awareness aspect.
exactly
That
them
moves.
all walking by, seeing the message, and honestly, in messages get around
Yes.
up here around in the lacrosse scene. So if you're at one tournament, chances are the person's going to talk to another person because
Mhm.
it's so foreign to see a team that's. I mean, it's a good team they'll talk about because of the talent, but they'll talk about so much more because the kids on the field are they they put a good brand of lacrosse out there. However, their jerseys are have pediatric stroke awareness things like that Be Fast moniker I was talking about earlier. And so we believe by having messages out there that it will get into the hands of the right people and can attract more people.
Exactly, and also if you have good players too, as your team grows, they're gonna disperse one day into all these universities and colleges, and they might wear the club lacrosse shirt around campus, and they will be on a college lacrosse team, and then that's how ideas spread. So I love that I've done similar stuff with childhood cancer where it's like before you can raise money for research, people have to know what the problem is. So it's important that you let people know. And I think that's a great, honestly, a fantastic way to do it.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Well, I really enjoyed our conversation. I want to have more because I want to learn more as you continue to grow and once you graduate and what's next for you. But yeah, dude, if you want to, if someone's listening to you for the first time or just coming across your story, you have one word of encouragement. If they're going through something difficult, what would your advice be?
Simply keep chipping away.
Keep chipping away.
Yep.
Keep chipping away. All right, man. Well, again, I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much for joining the Earn Moment Cancers podcast.
Definitely. Of course. Thank you for having me.
You have a great one.
You too.